All right, what's up, guys? I was thinking I could either write a blog update or I could just make a video blog, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing. So, what am I going to talk about today? Well, the blog and writing. So, I have a little bit of background in writing. I'm not the strongest writer. I've just written a lot, to the point where I remember when I was working for the government, just writing emails, right, would catch people's attention and say, "Oh, you're a really good writer, so well-crafted emails." And it's just one of those things where you do it enough times, you write enough, I guess you just get a little bit better at it. So people ask me, like for the blog, like, oh, they'll say, "Oh, you write so well," or "I'd like to do that, but I don't know how to write." So here's just some quick tips from, and it's just an average guy, right? The first thing is, especially if it's like a blog, or let's say you just want to do creative writing, you should always write what you know. Peter Lynch, the great mutual fund manager, he used to talk about investments like that, like your circle of knowledge. Um, you should only invest in things that you actually know about. Like if you can't describe the company that you're putting money into, then you probably shouldn't be investing in it, even if everybody else tells you that it's a good idea. It's the same thing with writing. You shouldn't write about something that you don't know. Now, oftentimes we want to learn about something so that we can write about it. Well, that's where the research comes in. And believe me, with the internet these days, it's really easy to do research, right? I mean, the one-stop shop is usually Wikipedia, but you don't know if all those answers are going to be, the information is going to be correct. So what else? Just do some Google searches and look at other news sites. It's okay to read other people's articles. Read what other people have written about the subject. And you'll start to kind of add to that knowledge. Your knowledge base will grow, and then you can feel more comfortable about writing about it. Now, when I say write about something you need to get some sort of like personal experience, some sort of up close, experience with the subject matter that you're writing about. Usually that comes in the form of like an interview or some sort of personal exchange with these people, so that you at least have some credibility to fall back on. Say, I've spoken to this person, right? Or if it's in the gaming world, you've played the game, so you can write about it, and you can your own experience, so you can write about your own experience, stuff like that. It's really not that hard. And then okay, so now you've got the research, you want to write, you're writing about something that you know. Well, how do you start? Well, that's just it. You just one of my old guys I worked for, newspaper, he used to tell me, just throw up on the page, just throw it all up. Just start writing. Like, it doesn't have to come out a well-crafted sentence to begin with. The lead, your first sentence, your lead, the most important sentence, the first time out of the gate is not going to be awesome. So just start writing. Go back and edit it later. So that's what you do. You just throw up on the page. Just start writing whatever's on the top of your head and just start going. And then go back and rearrange things and edit it. And so that leads to the other point. So you have to have some sort of idea of like structure, like how you want to write. Okay, so you got the idea, you're just going to start writing, bam, but you need some sort of structure. Well, the most important thing is you need a good lead. When you start, you've got to grab their attention. Those first couple of words are so important, okay? You need to capture their imagination, hold their interests, and then immediately deliver, okay? If you don't get to your point within the second graph, up front, people are going to lose interest. You can't just keep stringing them along. Now, I used to be a really good feature writer, and in doing that, you want to be really descriptive, and you want to sprinkle all your information, all your news bits, all along. So every paragraph might contain like one bit of information that you're still learning, and everything else is just colorful and descriptive, and it feels like you're reading kind of like a novel or something. So you do that, right? And then towards the end is when you start to kind of, this is my method anyway, that's when you want to start putting in like that personal touch, okay? So you've got the lead, you've hooked them, we've got the most important information up front, the inverted pyramid style, and now we're starting to kind of like close into, that final paragraph, and we can close out the story. All that remaining stuff, if they're still reading, they're really interested, because most people, the reason why you put all that important information in the first couple of paragraphs is because people generally read the first couple of paragraphs and then stop. Okay, so if they're still going, that's when you can kind of throw in that other stuff. If you notice the stuff on my blog, towards the end is where I kind of really start to get into like my own like personal opinions and feelings about the subject. But the first couple of graphs are basically just that's really all you need to read. I usually leave it up until the point where you've read, you get to the video, the embedded video that I've included. Okay, so they're still reading. They're interested in your writing. What next? Hold on a second. All right. So now it's time to, like I said, you start throwing some quotes, some extra bit of information, because you got to understand that you need to think about your reader while you're writing. Okay? They're still hanging in there with you. No, I don't want to restart my computer in 15 minutes. Well, screw it. I'll be done with this like in 2 minutes. So, all right. Yeah. And that's basically it. Throw in some quotes, throw in some colorful stuff, throw in like your opinion. Just be aware that the reader is still with you at this point. That means they like you. They like the subject matter. So, these are the people that are sticking around, after you're done giving you're at a conference or something and you're done with your presentation and there's still some people sitting in the room when everybody else is filed out. Well, those people that are still sitting there and have questions are really interested. So you can give them information you wouldn't give to everybody else, right? You wouldn't include all those, those extra bits of statistics or numbers, just stuff that's going to bore, a room full of 200 when there's only 2 or 3 people there. They're obviously interested in the subject. All right, so I've beat this to death. All right, so moving on. And that's basically it. Now, here's my weakness. I'm not a very good copy editor. I don't like to go back over my stuff and edit it. Same thing with these videos. I don't like to go back over and edit stuff. I just don't. I put it out there and I'm done and I want to walk away. Because I know myself and I know that if I start tweaking it, I'll never stop. I'll never stop editing it. And artists and creative people always have that kind of problem, whereas you have to go back over it and you have to edit your work. Okay, the first draft is not the final draft, but there is a point where you have to stop. You have to say, okay, it's not. I just have to walk away from it. Now it's good. Now my problem is I'm just lazy. I just don't copy edit. But that's normally the next step. Is you would go back over it, copy edit your stuff, look at your lead again. Look at your sentences. Sentences should be short. I know in my blog, I don't have a copy editor. No one's going back over my stuff and telling me this sentence long. There's some bad comma splices. There's some tense issues I know in my writing. There's subject-verb agreement in some areas. I know it's all there, and I'm just being lazy, and I didn't copy edit it. It's probably not the best thing to say, but that's what you should do. You should go back over it and copy edit your work, all right? And a good book to have on a hand is Strunk and White's. I think it's Elements of Style. That's a really good book. I wish I could just grab it real quick. That's a really good book for writing. I think it's back there somewhere. No, damn it, no. Oh, you know what? Here's another good book though. Hold on a second. This book right here. This book, if you want to write, is probably the best book you'll ever freaking read. I've probably read this I don't know how many times. And I just have stuff highlighted in it. Like this is one on the lead and the ending. All right, so it says, another approach is to just tell a story. It's such a simple solution, so obvious and unsophisticated, that we often forget that it's available to all of us. But narrative is the oldest and most compelling method of holding someone's attention. Everybody wants to be told a story. Keep looking for ways to convey your information in narrative form. So, it's just simple stuff like that. Like this book is just full of this stuff, right? It's a good book. If you want to be a writer, you want to write blogs, whatever, this is the book to get. Someone asked me, like some of like my favorite books. I read a lot of nonfiction, and that book is freaking amazing, especially for writers. So that's about it. So I want to talk to you about, blog writing. Those are my tips. Write what you know. Use inverted pyramid style. The lead's the most important thing. You want to hook and capture the reader's attention. important information up front. If they're still reading after the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, you can put in some like additional extra information, quotes, background information, those sorts of things. Just be aware of your reader, be kind to them, and always leave when you close out your story. That last sentence has got to be one of those that makes people like think, remember it, and that when they're done reading, you want them to still be thinking about your story or the subject matter. A lazy thing to do is to always use a really good quote, and that's typically what I do, because I like to get things done quickly and easily. All right, is there anything else? Anything else I'm forgetting? Nope. That's about it. If you want to contribute to Gamers on Tap, just send me an email. Gunner11. It's GUNN3R11 at Gmail. Blogspot. It's all information's down in the description. Twitter, whatever. Just let me know if you want to talk about writing or whatever else. All right. Peace, guys. Out.